Vamos en vivo contigo, Luis Carlos Hernández. Se pusieron duras las cosas por allá entre los manifestantes, te escuchamos.
Así es, Said, pues se ha incrementado muchísimo el nivel de esta manifestación, de esta protesta, y también la forma en la que estos elementos de seguridad están tratando de contener a estos manifestantes, quienes ya incluso, como vimos en las imágenes, pues ya aventaron incluso fuego, empezaron a incendiar algunos objetos y aventarlos contra estos elementos para poder tratar, pues para intentar tratar más bien quitar esta valla que estos mismos elementos están haciendo. Han estado tratando de quitar las vallas, lo cual hasta el momento no han logrado y pues no, afortunadamente hasta el momento no tenemos reporte de alguna persona lesionada. Sin embargo, se han aventado piedras también, Said, incluso, lo cual pues ha estado muy peligroso tanto para los elementos que están resguardando la zona como...
The second Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the clashes which erupted at the Israeli embassy in Mexico City. Now, to get started, let's go ahead and talk about who the so-called Mexicans are. When you go into their heritage and you go back to their records, the Mexicans, we trace our lineage back to the tribe of Issachar. Okay, it's even written in the testimonies of the settlers or the missionaries that came over here to America and actually interviewed us when we were, going into captivity, or while we were in captivity, I should say. And let's get that. So right here in this book called Origins of the American Indians, European Concepts, 1492 to 1729, by Lee Eldridge Huddleston. In this book, there's this paragraph that says, the Mexicans are originally of the 10 tribes captured by Salamansar. Right, that right there's talking about 2nd Ezra 13 and 40, about how the northern kingdom got taken down by the Assyrians. And of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognize as their special ancestor. Right now, the world is waking up to who the man of perdition is, like the beloved elder Malcolm stated. Right now, the world is discovering who the true antichrists are. Okay, it's not just one person who has 666 tattooed on their head. No, it's an entire nation of people, and those people are biblically known as the Edomites. Well, right now, let's read about why this protest took place. It says, around 200 people joined the urgent actions for Rafah demonstration. It says clashes broke out Tuesday between police and protesters outside the Israeli embassy in Mexico, rallying against the country's military offensive in the southern Gazan city of Rafah, AFP journalist said. Now, one thing about this is that the reason why they're likely being roused up now is because these Israelis basically bombing the shit out of those Ishmaelites. And again, neither of them should be in that land, but the prophecies of the Bible have to come out, and the Bible did say that the Holy Land will be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is at an end. And we're coming to the end of this period where the Gentiles, which is the other 16 nations, or should I say other 17 nations of the 18 nations of the world, rule and have their own slice of heaven, I guess you could say. Well, we're coming to the end of that, right? The last rulership by the last heathen nation. The next rulership is going to be a perpetual rulership ruled by Yahweh Shai, which is the true Hebrew name of the Messiah, right? Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which is in Hebrew, it means he is salvation, or he delivers. But before we get to that point, this empire that is currently ruling over the world, right, the Edomite Empire, has to come down. Okay, now these devils themselves, these Edomites, the so-called Caucasian race, they're actually tearing down their own empire by themselves, right? And they're doing this so that way they could later on rise from the ashes, right, order out of chaos, and then basically bring in their new world order. But again, they're not going to get to that stage, but they think they're going to. But there's a lot of things moving around in the background that these devils are unaware of, and ultimately are going to catch them unaware, and the Lord is ultimately going to come and visit them and destroy them. Well, let's continue. It says, some protesters covered their faces and threw stones at riot police who blocked their path to the diplomatic complex in the city's Lomas de Corpotepec neighborhood. It says around 200 people joined the urgent action in Rafah demonstration, about 30 of whom started to break down barriers preventing them from reaching the Israeli mission. It says police officers deployed tear gas and threw back the stones hurled at them by protesters. The demonstration was called in response to an Israeli strike which ignited the inferno in a displacement camp outside Rafah, killing 45 people, according to Palestinian officials. Now, like I said, this is only the beginning of the uprisings that we're going to see around the world, and that's just because there's a lot of unraveling of this system that's going to take place, and these devils, they're going to let it go on for so long, so that way the people are tired of these protests, these uprisings of the people, to where the point where they want them, or they want us to beg them to bring in a system of control. This is why the politicians are corrupt. It's why when people get arrested for doing wicked ass shit, they get released right away, because they're purposely destroying this system so that way the people tear it down themselves. Or should I say, they're purposely making the system look as bad as possible so the people tear it down themselves.
Tsarism won't be overthrown by assassination or by talk, only by the combined will of the people. Study the factory laws. Talk to the workers, question them. Find out what their grievances are. Then we can use those grievances in our propaganda. You must find ways of distributing leaflets, arrange contacts, meetings. When they see that we are identified with their everyday needs, then they will trust us. We can organize them, develop their political consciousness. You'll do nothing if you sit here and talk like effete university liberals. You must go out, obtain the confidence of the people and the power of the people. Only they can challenge the Tsarist state and the bourgeoisie which supports it. We must show the people the structure of society so that they can pull it down with their bare hands.
This is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. So what we're seeing right now is a lot of people are rising up against these Edomites, especially the top tribe of Edom, that being the tribe of Amalek, or the Amalekites, who are the so-called Jewish people. Okay, because again, the Caucasian race and the Jewish people, they're the same people. They're the same Caucasians that came out of the Caucasus Mountains after being driven up there when they got kicked out of Rome. Okay, and the thing is that right now, in all the rising up around the world, online, in person, right, they're being exposed. The Lord is making these Edomites bare, right? He's showing the world how they control things here in America, how they pretty much have taken over America and the rest of the world. Here in Mexico, for example, one of the hopeful presidential candidates, she's a Amalekite lady. She's a so-called Jewish lady, right? And she's likely to win. Because why? Because Amalek right now is going for broke. He's basically pushing out all his ability to take over the world. But that ain't going to work because, again, why? Well, like it tells you here, right now, Esau is being made bare. Right now, a lot of people understand that these aren't the biblical Jews, that they're the European converts, and they're referring to them by the term Khazar, right? That's kind of like the sticking point now. And pretty soon people are going to realize, or should I say people are going to start asking, where did the Khazars come from? And that's where the Lord is then going to reveal that the Khazars go back to the Edomites. Okay, and that these are the biblical Edomites prophesied to steal the Holy Land, to have the world ruled in deception and wickedness, and ultimately the devils of the Bible. This is Job 20 and 27. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Like I said, this does not end well for these Edomites. All right, you see a lot of them trying to come up out against these Zionist movements over there in Israel, the Zionist takeover. But that doesn't matter if you got, Israelis on the pro-Palestinian side, because, like I said again, this isn't an Israeli-Palestinian argument. This is an Edomite versus Israelite argument. And right now, the nation of Edom is fighting with the nation of Ishmaelite, or Ishmael, right, the so-called Arabs, and they're fighting over a land which is neither of theirs. Okay? And what's going to happen is eventually they're going to culminate in a destruction of both ideologies. Well, at least that's what Esau's plan is, right? With the way that Albert Pike explained it, that they're going to basically pit the Zionist doctrine against the Arab doctrine, and they're both going to be eliminated because the world is just going to say enough's enough, and basically, be done away with both of them. And then hence what's going to come from there is going to be the atheistic, Luciferian, secular worshiping, communist, one world order. Okay, this is why we're going through such a horrible phase right now when you're seeing all these brutal murders going on over there in the land of Gaza right now. But again, all this is leading to the end of these devils' empire. Okay, this is why, as you got that devil, Nikki Haley, which they say that she's an Elamite, but I'm pretty sure when you go back through her father's lineage, I know her grandfather served in the British Army, right? And I basically lost her father's heritage there. But again, I bet you her dad's lineage goes back to the, an Edomite back in the land of Britain, back when Britain had ruled over the land of India, right? And that's why you have Nikki Haley, who straight up looks and acts like an Edomite, right? Over here, signing missiles over in Israel, talking about finish them, right? These devils are being exposed, and the world is now starting to stand up against them, just like this prophecy in Job said they would. So either way, I just wanted to make a quick point. I wanted to show this video to show you, man, things are heating up. So with all that, let's give honor and glory and praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai B'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.